I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. Bombshell tonight, live upscale D.C. suburbs. A beautiful 21-year-old co-ed, a mother, an Army wife, 5 months pregnant with her second child, disappears. The husband deploys to Afghanistan, and in an odd twist, for the first time ever in their relationship, Army wife Bethany does not make it to the airport to see her husband off. Tonight, where is 21-year-old mother, Army wife, co-ed Bethany?
Bethany was with her husband, Emil, on leave from his Army National Guard deployment to Afghanistan.
He wants to cooperate fully.
Emil went back overseas.
He is very concerned about Bethany's whereabouts.
Emil Decker called Loudoun County authorities this morning.
As soon as he found out that she was missing, he did call.
We've got to look at everything.
He feels quite helpless being so far away.
Because he did have contact with Bethany. Kim hadn't heard from Bethany.
It's so hard not knowing anything.
We hadn't heard from her.
And not being able to reach her.
Our main thing is we want to locate Bethany. Everything is under investigation, obviously. We have a missing person, and we've got to look at everything. We'd like to talk to him as well and try to get the opportunity to find out, because he did have contact back in January with Bethany. Our main thing is we want to locate Bethany.
We are taking your calls live. I want to go straight out to Emily Babay with the Washington Examiner. Emily, thank you for being with us. What can you tell us?
Thanks for having me. Bethany Decker is a 21-year-old woman. Her husband is deployed in Afghanistan, and she disappeared from her Loudoun County, Virginia apartment in January, and no one's seen her since.
Now, let me ask you this. She already has one child, 17-month-old Kai, and right now he is with Bethany's mother, correct?
Yes, he is with their family.
Emily, at the time she goes missing, the 17-month-old was already over there with the mother, correct? The grandmother, right?
Yes, she was caring for him while Bethany finished her education and was also working.
Now, she's 5 months pregnant. Is she pregnant by the husband who's in Afghanistan?
That's not something that police have said, but there's no indication that that's not the case.
That it's anybody else. Now, she's a student at George Mason University. Do we have any idea what it is she's studying, and was she a full-time student?
We're not sure about her status right now, but she was studying global and environmental change.
We are taking your calls live. Take a look at this girl. The tip line, 703-777-0475. Bethany Decker seemingly vanishes into thin air. She's got a 17-month-old baby boy, and she's 5 months pregnant with her second child. She's also an Army wife and a full-time college student. Where is Bethany? Now, let me go to you, Alexis Weed. It's my understanding that her neighbors saw her entering her apartment as normal, correct?
Right, Nancy. It was either neighbors or a friend, police are saying, that saw her going into her apartment or was at her apartment on January 29th.
But what about after that? Do we know who was the last person to see her other than the neighbors?
No,
Alexis?
just the neighbors, Nancy, or the friends.
Joining us right now from Baltimore is a special guest. It's Peter Burns Jr. This is Bethany's family attorney and the spokesperson. Peter, thanks for being with us. What does the family say tonight?
The family doesn't. Hi, Nancy, and thanks for having me. The
Yes,
family doesn't really know what to say. This is one of those kinds of depressing things where they don't really know what to say. They're praying together and just keeping the message tight. That's what they're doing.
Now, the husband is over in Afghanistan. Isn't that right, Peter Burns?
He's over there. He's in the Army serving our nation, but yeah, that's where he is.
Why didn't she go see him off?
Great question. Don't know. We would love to know the answer to it.
Her mother doesn't know?
Nobody knows. We would love to. We would love to know the answer to it. Nobody really knows what the cause of it was.
Now, the rest of the family was there to see him off, right?
I don't know who was there to see him off. I just know that it was noteworthy that she was not.
Okay. It took 3 weeks, apparently, since the last sighting of her for her to be reported missing, Mr. Burns. Why?
Well, I think that there's been a little bit of misinformation that's gone out there. Bethany sort of had transient communications with various people in her family, and what would happen would be that Bethany would talk to a member of the family, not an individual, a particular individual, but whoever she felt like reaching at the time. If, for whatever reason, someone hadn't heard from her in a few days, they'd start calling everybody else. It wasn't unusual for Bethany to go off the grid for a little bit. Then finally, when enough people hadn't heard anything and she wasn't returning calls, the family got concerned. So it wasn't like there was a 3-week delay. It was more like things weren't adding up, and that's when the family realized we might want to do something about it.
So what I'm hearing you say, Peter Burns, is that she will catch as catch can. She will call home frequently, but she might talk to the mother one day, the brother, then the sister 2 days later, then back to the mother, then talk to the baby on the phone, and suddenly they started putting it together, and nobody has heard from her. Is that correct?
I think that's a pretty fair assessment of the way it is.
Got it. What, if any, help? Back to Emily Babay with the Washington Examiner, joining us tonight live out of D.C. What, if any, help is the husband being now? I know he's over in Afghanistan, so he can't be too much help, but what is he doing to help?
The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office says that he has been in contact with them. They have spoken to him, and they're trying to set up some kind of face-to-face online communication to get more information from him and anything he might know.
What do you mean they're trying to get more information? I mean, they can't do Skype. They can't talk to him. Why do they have? What do you mean get more information?
They're just trying. They're in their investigation, just trying to speak with him. I don't know what questions they're going to ask him.
They're trying to speak to him. Alexis Weed, have they not spoken to him? Is he not cooperating?
No, Nancy, they have spoken with him on the phone, but they want to talk to him via video conference, something like that. And police have gone so far as to say that they'd like him to actually come home to the United States to be questioned.